I'm here to help parents who are assessing prep school for their secondary school kids. I'm Mark Greenstein. I am a prep school product myself, and I've steered a lot of kids to prep schools and kept people away or advised them to stay away in certain cases. But on the whole, I think the merits are high. I have other videos about that. Here are a few objections that are raised, and let me address them. Number one, the 7th or 8th grader concerned that, oh, I'm not going to see my friends anymore. I go away, whether it's boarding school or a day school, but day activities, usually at prep schools, run till 5 o'clock. You don't get home till 5:45, and then there's often homework to do. You're still going to keep your friends, okay? You can see them on weekends. You can correspond by, yes, this magic device. You can be on the internet. You can certainly see them on vacations. You're not going to lose good friends. And you're going to gain new friends who might become better friends. I mean, kids who have similar interests, it wasn't that they just grew up together in the same neighborhood, but being at a school that attracts kids from many neighborhoods, you're going to be able to select, this is a kid like me, this is a kid who I'd like to be hanging out with. It is a good expansion of a child's friends, and it is no different than going off to camp. You still keep your old friends, don't you? Next objection, there's a certain activity at the public high school that this prep school doesn't offer. This is a harder one to overcome, and it might not be overcomeable. In my hometown, one of the two high schools had a very prolific, almost professional jazz band. They would perform well as if it were a professional concert. They would tour Europe until COVID anyway, every spring. If you were a saxophonist or a percussionist who'd like to be in that band, this was a tough thing to forego. But I want people to recognize that if you're that same percussionist, saxophonist, there will be some sort of ensemble at any prep school, and you can help make it into a performing showcase of your talents. Might not have the embedded cachet that your prior school would have, but you become a little leader in giving you and a few classmates of yours a boost into the semi-professional echelons. It's a nice opportunity. The kinds of activities that you lose couldn't be more than one. The kinds of activities that you would gain at your average prep school, which has so many options for kids. I mean, if they don't have a certain club, they make you form one, or they allow you to form one. They have more athletic teams at almost every prep school. They have more after-school activities at almost every prep school. It opens up an awful lot of newness. Third objection, and this often comes from parents who are eyeing college acceptances, and they're concerned, gee, my kid at a prep school that has some high-powered kids in her class, might that diminish her chances of going to an elite college? Answer, no, because colleges will accept more kids from competitive schools, public or private. Colleges know that the caliber of students at certain schools is on average higher, so that if your kid is the average at the new school, that kid is above average compared to most applicants. They can discern this from SAT scores and AP scores. They can discern this from a track record of accepting students from X prep school and how they have developed in their 4 years on the college campus. They can compare that to Y public school at home. And they do have a tracking and an appreciation for talented kids, even when their talents don't let them stand out at the very, very top. There is even the, I'm not going to say likelihood, but a good possibility that a talented kid enmeshed with other talented kids actually rises because of internal competitiveness, wanting to still get A's, even in a more competitive environment, probably makes the student more studious, more diligent, more accomplished. Good things. All right, final objection is for parents who are considering boarding school and are concerned about the antics of their kids while away. Yes, they're not under your roof anymore. But in my experience, the dorm proctor probably knows as much about the average 16-year-old as parents do when they're living at home. And if you are concerned that you have a kind of a wayward type who wants to look for trouble, you set the guidelines in advance, okay? You get in touch with that dorm head and say, I want to be in the know as soon as, whenever you get a whiff of my kid gaming online in bad places, of my kid staying out too late, of my kid smoking the first cigarette. I want to know. You set the ground rules in advance. Indeed, parents could demand a net nanny that's coming from the school, not the parents. So parents aren't the bad guy. This is the school policy. Now, maybe it's not even policy, but you want to demand it. It gets installed, and you and the dorm head have better monitoring in place. Now, what's the upside of the independent kid in a boarding school far away from parents? Those kids mature faster. I've seen it. And they know how to navigate bus routes, deal with airports. They know how to get food on days when the dining hall is either closed or serving something they really don't like. A lot of them even learn to cook. Compared to staying at home in a coddled environment, those kids in boarding school tend to become young adults faster. I'm Mark Greenstein. Those are my thoughts. Happy to hear more from you.